Standard financial advice is almost always a math problem. Earn more, spend less, and let compounding interest do the rest. But if wealth were purely a matter of calculation, a high salary would be a mathematical shield against stress. Instead, we see the same patterns of irrational panic and paycheck-to-paycheck cycles across every income bracket. There is a massive disconnect between knowing the right move and the capacity to make it. A perfectly optimized budget is only as effective as the mind executing it. And often, that mind is working against a set of hidden constraints that no spreadsheet can account for. Our financial behavior is governed by two distinct pressures: the immediate limits of our focus and the quiet, unconscious narratives we've carried since childhood. To fix the numbers, we have to look past the equation. We have to diagnose the biological baseline of our decision-making and the environmental programming that directs it. Our brains are naturally biased toward conservation. Research by Kahneman and Tversky showed that the pain of a loss is felt twice as intensely as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. This isn't a glitch, it's an evolutionary priority. Historically, missing a threat resulted in death, while missing an opportunity just meant temporary hunger. When we perceive a lack of resources, we activate what Stephen Covey famously called a scarcity mindset. This is the nervous system shifting into protection mode, where the brain prioritizes immediate survival over long-term perspective. This creates a bandwidth tax. Scarcity consumes cognitive capacity, leaving diminished mental energy. Worried about rent today? You have less brain power for retirement. The mind hyperfocuses on urgent threats, called tunneling, becoming functionally blind to long-term consequences outside that tunnel. In this state, delayed gratification is no longer a choice, it's an impossibility. The brain views long-term planning as a luxury it cannot afford to process while the immediate environment feels unstable. This explains why people under financial pressure often make choices that seem irrational from the outside. These are survival mechanisms working exactly as intended, prioritizing the next hour over the next decade, because in the tunnel, only the next hour exists. While biology sets the baseline, early environment provides instructions. Financial psychologist Dr. Klontz identifies money scripts, unconscious, emotionally charged beliefs formed in our earliest years. These beliefs are forged in financial flashpoints, moments of extreme household stress or generational trauma. A child watching parents fight over bills or witnessing a family business collapse encodes a specific set of rules for how the world works. Scripts like money worship or money status link self-worth directly to net worth. These drive the compulsive acquisition of high-status liabilities, using expensive cars or designer clothes to soothe old emotional wounds or signal power they don't possess. Conversely, scripts of avoidance or vigilance create a paralyzing fear of money itself. These lead to obsessive hoarding or a total refusal to engage with financial planning, preventing the calculated risks necessary to build actual wealth. These unconscious scripts act as an autopilot. Without intervention, they keep us trapped in a cycle of high time preference, sabotaging our long-term goals regardless of how much income we earn. Shifting towards an abundance mindset is the act of reclaiming the mental energy that scarcity hijacks. It is a gradual process of lowering the perceived threat level to restore our cognitive capacity. This begins by recognizing that wealth is not always a zero-sum game. When we see resources as something that can be created rather than just fought over, we begin to dial back the constant signal of threat that keeps the brain in a state of protection. This comparison shows the result of recovering bandwidth. As the threat response subsides, the tunnel widens, lowering our time preference. With this restored capacity, past-driven scripts lose their grip. We can finally use the future-driven logic required to acquire an asset. Financial wellness is not found in a specific number on a balance sheet. It is the practice of identifying the scripts of the past, clearing the present bandwidth tax, and making choices for the future.